Good evening. Welcome. Hello. This is Angie, the Undeniable Vixen, and welcome for being Black and Craft, where we don't apologize for recognizing our influence on craft beer. And we have a special guest tonight, but also wanted to remind you that we are live on Facebook as well as YouTube. Facebook being Black and Craft, and YouTube being Black and Craft. So even if you don't get to see us live, you can always go back and watch us on the replays. And of course, the next day, the podcast is always available. Um, I think I think that I have been here since I came back from Austin. Yes, and great things are still happening. I believe that one of the biggest church announcements that I have that I did post was I have taken the role and responsibility of being the communications director of Pink Boots Society International. And I'm going to be the communications director. I'm still getting into that role, as well as kind of alleviating myself from some other roles because I had been the president of the North Texas chapter. So we have Ara that's holding the helm. She's holding it down now, along with she's Zenora. She's new to the community, but I believe they will make a great team and they'll do really, really great, wonderful things. And I'll still also be the volunteer coordinator for Pink Boots. So since we're out of dry January and everything, it's time to open a beer. So I have Petticola's Irish Goodbye, which is it's a Irish red ale. And from the crazy day that I had with conference calls and stuff like that, I can use a drink. But one thing that I wanted to do for Black History Month is we're going to kind of talk about a couple of things during the month. And so I decided to do a series, which is going to be called Sipping Legacy, Unveiling Our Black History series with the Brewmaster's Journey from Diaspora to Glass. So we're going to basically just kind of go through some different ingredients that are indigenous to us as a people and just kind of go into seeing what's going on with those different products. So since we were going to be talking to Eat.Drink Kiko, or is it Kiko? Kiko?
It's Kiko. Yep. Eat.Drink
Yeah.
Kiko is just like our Instagram handle because just Kiko was taken.
So since we have our illustrious guests, we're going to talk about rice. That's going to be our first one. So I have a little bit of a blurb on that I want to share with y'all. So in the rich tapestry of the African diaspora, rice has transcended its role in mere staple food to become a central element in the creation of distinctive beverages that carry the flavors and stories of diverse communities. From the shores of West Africa to the Caribbean islands and beyond, the use of rice in traditional drinks reflects the resilience, creativity, and cultural fusion within these communities. So one such beverage is sorrel, a popular and vibrant drink carried and enjoyed in the Caribbean cultures, especially during festival seasons. Sorrel is made with hibiscus petals, spices, and notably rice. The addition of rice to sorrel recipes adds a unique texture and depth to the beverage, symbolizing the fusion of African, indigenous, and colonial influences. So in West Africa, the tradition is ogi, O-G-I, or pap, P-A-P, and that represents a culturally significant rice-based beverage. Ogi is a fermented porridge made from rice or maize, and it serves as a nourishing drink with deep roots in Nigerian and Ghanaian cultures. Often enjoyed as a breakfast dish, Ogi embodies the communal aspects of food and drink, fostering connections in the diasporic communities. But in the southern United States, particularly in the Gullah community or Gullah Gullah Islands, if you're familiar with that, sweet rice milk is a cherished beverage made from simmering rice with water, sweeteners, and spices. This comforting drink reflects the historical legacies of rice cultivation by enslaved Africans. It symbolizes a connection with ancestral roots and endurance of cultural practices and generations. So that's just a couple of little tidbits about um, rice and how we are connected to rice. I'm surprised that, uh, I know they talked about Goa, the area which is like in the Carolinas, but I'm really surprised, and maybe I just don't know because my mother is from Louisiana, that we don't have some type of fermented beverage, or maybe I need to kind of dig a little bit deeper to find if that's such a thing. So that's our first topic of sipping into that culture of our culture as far as using those ingredients, rice. So that's why I thought it would be perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and segue in to introduce our illustrious guest, Josh Kinko, and uh, with Eat.Drink Kinko. So are you a native of DC?
I grew up. I would say I'm a native of the DMV.
Okay.
I've spent time in Fairfax, Virginia, with my youth. Went to high school in Prince George's County, and now I've lived in DC probably for over 10 years now. So I would say I've lived in all of the DMV.
So you say you're youth and you look like a smooth 25.
I am not 25. Black doesn't clock. Black doesn't
No,
clock.
it don't. No, it don't. So that's really cool. Okay. Yeah, I have lots of people that are in the DMV, and I'm sure that they have come across, or if they haven't, soon they will, because they'll know that you exist. So tell me, um, from what I was looking at, when I'm scrolling through Instagram, loving Jesus like I do, I happen up on your page. And from what I could see, the story was the food was first and then the beverage came. So are you the chef by trade, or you just kind of came in there? How did this kind of spring out?
Yeah, so it was actually the drink came first,
Okay.
and then food kind of. We realized that food and drink are interconnected. You can't have one without the other, and it made more sense for our storytelling to kind of also have a food aspect onto it. But yeah, it was the drink first. Me and my business partner were working in a ramen restaurant, and a lady asked
Mhm.
us for a flavored sake. We didn't have anything like that. So it was a slow, rainy Monday. So I went to the back, kind of whipped up something. I mixed sake with some yuzu, some lemon juice. Yuzu is a
Mm.
Japanese citrus, kind of like a mandarin and a grapefruit. And I let her try it, and she loved it. Everyone at the table loved it. Everyone ended up ordering it. I let some coworkers try that um, mix, and they were like, "Oh, you should look into bottling it." I wish I didn't know how complicated, or I wish I did know how complicated it was going to be, or I wouldn't be here today. Um, so that was in 2019 when
Okay.
we first came up with that. That was the original, come up with the original recipe, and then all these years we've been, we had to work with the food scientists and find the right bottle, and it's just been a long road. But yeah, that's a little bit into the origin of Kiko.
So did anyone wonder, like, what? How is this black man doing sake? How many heads turn from that? Not that we do everything,
Right.
but some initial kind of reactions. Did you just? I mean, it was just basically out of a need, just trying to please, doing your best at customer service. But after the fact, after you decided that I think we're going to do this for real, how was that observed from people? You being in doing sake basically.
I remember our first event. It was called Ramen World in 2019. That was really our first time kind of showing our product to the world. Ramen World is kind of like a ramen expo in DC. They used to do it every year before
Mm.
COVID, but it hasn't happened again. But basically, it's over 500 people, and every different ramen restaurants in the city have their own booth, and we had our own booth. And I remember some of the looks we got. because my business partner, he's Dominican, he's not Asian. He's basically we're both not Asian, and
Mhm.
I remember some looks we would get, but those looks would change after they tasted the product and realized it was good.
Mhm.
Um, I think one benefit that we have is that I've most of my culinary career I've worked in Asian restaurants, so it's not like I'm just in it to get a quick buck. Um, and through working in Asian restaurants for most of my culinary career, um, it's guided me to build these connections in the DC area with these people, and I've known these people for over 10 years, and they know that I'm actually in the culture. I know how to make ramen, and I've worked at ramen restaurants, worked at Vietnamese restaurants, and things of that nature. So it's not like so it's not. I feel less of an outsider. Um,
Mhm.
I remember the Ramen World event. Um, the embassy of Japan was there, and they tasted our product, and they liked. They actually like thanked me. They were like, "Thank you for showing our spirit in a different light." Because mostly usually people associate sake with sushi, or usually you drink it hot. And our
Mhm.
whole mission was just kind of showing it in a different way that can be a really great base for spirits and different cocktails. And they thanked us for showing the sake in a different light, and that gave us all the fuel we needed to kind of keep on going through this long and stressful process.
So I'm wondering with you making this cocktail. So are you starting with the base of just a regular sake and then adding the flavors to it? And how many variations do you have right now?
Right, we're starting with the a base of a Jumai sake. So Jumai, the translation is basically like a pure, clean sake. It it only uses water, rice, and koji to make it. Koji is the mold that it's a rice mold that's used to make ferment and make sake. Um, and then we worked with the food scientists to get our product shelf stable, because there's fresh citrus juice in the original recipe, and of course we wanted to be able to sit outside or sit on the shelf and not
Mhm.
have to be refrigerated. So we worked with the food scientists on that, and right now we just have two SKUs or different flavors announced. We have the sake lemonade, which is the more approachable one. That's the original recipe, with which uses yuzu juice. And then it's funny that you brought up the hibiscus sorrel. We have hibiscus one that's influenced by sorrel,
Oh, nice.
because we're always trying to find um, different points to connect cultures and people together. Because you mentioned that sorrel sometimes can use rice, and I saw that connection that sake is made with rice. So it's like we should
Mhm.
figure out a way to fuse these things together. Um, so our sorrel is has hibiscus, ginger, cinnamon, a little bit of allspice, but it's still light and refreshing. And then we have two other products that's on the back end. We're just focusing on the first two. I guess maybe I'll go ahead and mention the other ones that were are in development.
Well,
Uh,
now don't give out the secrets if you don't feel comfortable.
it's cool.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
okay. Um, yeah, we have a sake matcha mule, which is
Ooh.
in development. So it's gonna be sake, ginger beer, and matcha, and basically that connecting factor. I was like, oh, Japanese culture uses a lot of ginger. Everybody basically uses ginger. African culture
Mhm.
uses a lot of ginger, so I was like, that could be a cool way to mix those two together. And then also, keep. I'm always that's what I do when coming up with new flavors, just trying to find dots to connect. And then the other one that we have, it probably won't come out for a while because it's a very complicated process, but it's a sake horchata. Um,
Ooh.
and so also just finding that connection of rice, like you know, horchata, the roots can be traced all the way back to North Africa. And then horchata is big in Latino culture and
Right.
and of course rice is huge in Japanese culture, so that brings it all together. But that it's a really long process of infusing the sake with fresh rice, fresh cinnamon, and blending it. It's a long process. It's one that at some of our events we'll bring it out for special events, just to
Mhm.
kind of still get feedback. But that one's on the back burner.
That sounds interesting. So do you think that that's going to be something that's just like specialty for the holidays, because that's when it usually comes out around November, December?
Until we can get a shelf stable version, I think yeah, it'll just be kind of like at some of our pop ups and events around the city. We'll just bring out a little bit, just to still get feedback and tone in on the recipe.
Okay. And what, like, on average is the ABV for the sake? Like yours, the lemonade compared to the horchata, or are they pretty much the same?
They're all clocking in around 8 to 10%. So
Okay.
I always tell people to watch out because
Yeah.
the ABV is around that's around like an IPA or double IPA
Mhm.
kind of ABV, but it doesn't taste like it. And definitely been like in meetings with potential investors, and they're drinking it like it's juice. And I'm like, hey, slow down. They're like, no, no, it's not that strong. And then they
Um,
stand up and it goes straight to their head. Definitely had a potential investor drink four in one sitting, and I was like, watch out. And he was like, yeah, you. He was like, you didn't tell me he was gonna get me drunk. I said, hey, it's 8%. Like you
yeah,
wouldn't chug four. You wouldn't chug four IPAs. So why would you chug four of
right.
these? You know.
Just because it looks dainty doesn't mean it can't be dangerous.
Right, exactly.
That's hilarious. Especially because you're thinking, oh, this is just lemonade. It's fine. It's fine. And yeah, you've had four, and then you're like, I need to Uber home now.
Right. And drink a lot of water.
So you said that you have things on the shelf. Do you have something in store, like at a Total Wine near you, or at some other like mom and pop stores, or is it just at the ramen restaurant?
Yeah, so we were being last summer we were in a few stores around the DMV, and the issue was we weren't able to make enough to keep up with demand and to make it financially stable. If that
Mm,
makes sense,
yeah,
only being able to sell 10 cases a week or produce. I'm I'm just saying a number, just for example. Only
yeah.
being able to make 10 cases a week isn't really profitable. So we stopped selling it at stores, and now we are in negotiating with a brewery in DC. So we're going to be switching over to cans, and they're going to be able to produce at the volume that allow us to scale and actually make a profit. So right now we're just negotiating that deal and going back and forth with the brewery on the details. And we're actually going to be switching to a different base sake. This sake is going to be coming straight from Japan.
Oh, nice.
Before, the base of our sake was made in California, but we found a sake importer that's going to import sake in from Japan. So just a lot of moving parts right now. And
Mhm.
that sake, as that base sake, is actually going to be a higher ABV as well. Um, so the sake lemonade might bump up 1 or 2 percentage points in ABV. So
Okay.
definitely watch out for that too.
Mhm. Okay. So tell me more about you and your partner. Or how did y'all get together? Were y'all friends before, or did y'all just kind of uh, fall into each other with getting that uh, that kind of epiphany of the sake cocktail?
So he was actually my boss at the ramen restaurant. That's how we met. Yeah, he was the general manager there, and he saw that I was working on this, and then we decided to team up on it.
Okay, so
So
he
kind of
saw the need. He saw the vision. He was able
saw
to
the
get
vision,
it.
right?
So you talked about several of the versions of the sake cocktail that you're going to make. What, with sky's the limit, money is not an object. What would be the most wildest flavor that you would love to try?
Ooh, hmm, that's a good question. The first thing that came to my head was maybe like a savory sake cocktail.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe like some kind of version of like a martini or something, a sake martini,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, because I wonder how you could make it dirty, make it like into a dirty sake martini bomb or something like that. So yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think olive juice is pretty shelf stable, so that could kind of be easy. I maybe have to write that one
See,
on the notes. Thank you for that.
you're welcome. That's one of my favorite. I love vodka, so um, that's something that's always near and dear to my heart. I always have vodka at home. So, but I'm a Bloody Mary girl. But martinis are pretty darn good too.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
more olive juice the better, in my opinion.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so um, where would you like to branch out if you everything is kind of coming together? You're gonna switch over to cans, which is gonna be more stable, of course. Um, and you would be in the DMV. What would be the next uh, city that you would like to kind of have people introduced to Eat, Drink, Kinko?
Um, I think if money wasn't an issue, of course LA, um, because LA just has like a big Asian population and a big
Mhm.
popular Asian food scene there. I think the product would really do well over
Mhm.
there. Um, Logistically speaking, I think New York would be the next move because there's just so many different restaurants you could sell to in a short mile radius. So I would say New York would
Mhm.
be a logical move, but you know, we're still focusing on the DMV because I think we can do really well just in the DMV. I feel like there's a bunch of breweries that only sell in DMV and are doing quite well. So um, yeah, definitely just want to focus on the DMV for right now.
Okay, that sounds really great. Yeah, I know that one of the guests that we're going to have, and I don't know if you went or not, the Soul Mega Festival. Where have you heard of that or been a part of that?
Yeah, we had a booth at the this most recent one.
Okay, great. How was that experience?
Oh, it was great. It was great meeting people that looked like me that were like into craft beverage.
Hmm.
Um, Kind of felt like an outsider a little bit because it was all mostly beer there.
Yeah.
But I think that helped us stand out. And it's always good getting feedback from people. Um,
Mhm.
and the response was great. I think we ran a sake. I think maybe like an hour or 2 hours before the
Wow.
event ended. We ran out. People kept coming back for more.
Oh, that's good. That's a real good sign. Very
Right.
good sign.
That lets me know that we're on to something. So I always love events like that where you're meeting people outside of your bubble,
Hmm.
because that's always the goal, to meet new people and get outside of the bubble that people that already know about us and to introduce sake to people that usually don't drink it. So yeah, it was a great experience. I'm thankful that we were able to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that no, not hoping. I know I have it scheduled. I'm gonna go and check out Soul Mega. That's right around my birthday. That's in my birthday month, but right around my birthday. So I wanted to go and check it out because I've been going to Barrel and Flow for the past going on 4 years in Pittsburgh, and it's a lot of beer. It's a lot of uh, spirits, anything that you can imagine is there. And I, if you by chance have time to do that, to even go just as a participant, but definitely as a vendor, you would you would really they would really appreciate that alternative, because there are people that go that are, some are beer drinkers, some are not as big beer drinkers, but it's for the culture. They love, going somewhere where you see everywhere you turn, it's like family.
Right.
It's like, so yeah, I implore you to check that out if you haven't heard of it before.
Yeah, I've
But
heard of it. But I'll definitely have to Google that and see, yeah, how I can be a part of that.
yeah, they're just doing now early bird tickets. So yeah, you check them out. So one other question that I had, because I love ramen, so I want to find out, because I feel like you are a ramen expert more than me. So I'm gonna, let's see if I can ask you questions as far as what your uh, preference is. So for your broth, do you want it just a broth? Do you want it creamy or not so creamy?
I think I want like what is called a shinton broth, which is going to
Hmm.
be a lot more lighter and delicate.
Okay.
Uh, Basically, like the process of a shinton broth is you're never really letting your bones get to a boil. You're kind of just simmering it for 6 hours, and you're constantly the whole time skimming the fat off the top
Mm.
of it, and just it's a very light and delicate soup, and you can really get that real whatever bones you're using. If you're using chicken bones, you're going to get that real delicate chicken flavor, or if you're using pork, you're going to get that nice delicate pork flavor. So I would say that shinton light delicate broth.
So are you more of a meat kind of um, kind of chicken or pork, or do you do more seafood?
um, I actually struck out and got bad luck. I'm actually allergic to seafood, so
Oh no.
yeah. So by default, I'm on the meat side.
Okay. So what is like your basic bowl, your go-to bowl? Like if you were making something or you were going to a restaurant, um, what would be your, basically, the base as far as your meats and added items in your ramen?
Yeah, I would probably go keep it traditional and probably do a pork broth base. And then the flavor of it would be a shoyu, which is basically like a soy sauce flavor. So it's gonna have like a deep, rich soy sauce flavor to it. And toppings, you gotta have the ramen, the gooey ramen egg on top. Gotta have some
Mhm.
seaweed. Um, I like memma, which is bamboo shoots on there. And then I know which can be polarizing, but I really like corn in my ramen. I know there's a lot of people that don't like corn,
Mhm.
but I
Mm.
like corn.
Like just corn that's off the cob, just
Corn
corn.
off the cob. Yep, just corn.
I don't
I
think
know it
I.
sounds weird, but when you scoop it up in your spoon, you're getting like your broth flavored corn. It's actually really good. But I know there are people out here that hate corn, but I like corn.
No, I love corn, but I don't think I've ever had it in my ramen before. I'll have to look out for that and see if I've ever seen that even like offered. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
if you're in DC, the ramen shop Takaya, where we used to work for, they offer corn in their ramen.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you're ever in DC, check them out.
Yeah, I'll be coming. Well, fingers crossed. I'm supposed to be going to someone has a it's turning 40 in March, and I really hope that I get to go and hang out. Um, and I know I have several people that are big ramen fanatics like me. So, wow, corn. Okay. So, what else? What is like your top thing that you gotta have, and what thing that, like, please do not put this in my ramen.
Um, of course, think don't put seafood in my ramen.
Yes, yes,
But
absolutely.
I like good pork belly, a nice
Mm.
fatty pork belly in my ramen. Um, Surprisingly, adding butter to your ramen. I know it's not the healthiest thing, but adds a nice little creamy texture to it. You know, um,
So, am I
chili.
gonna be able to ask people, say, "Can you give me like a little butter for my ramen?" Because this is something new again.
At the Kaya, you can do it. They have butter as an extra topping. So when you come to DC, yeah, just ask them. They'll definitely butter is on the menu as an extra topping.
Wow, okay. And I could see that being nice and creamy because I think that's why I like things that are more creamy as far as my ramen. So that's why I was wondering because you were liking more, it seems like more traditional, but you're putting that creaminess
Back into it.
well, yeah, back into it, but you're doing it at your level,
Hmm.
which I can appreciate that. That's very
It,
cool.
and I have a theory that butter makes everything taste better.
It
I haven't put butter on
does.
something and it didn't and it didn't taste better. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, excuse me. So, I guess one of the last questions that I have for you is you are somewhere where you're having your perfect ramen and you have your drink. Who would you like to share that with, living or dead?
ooh, ooh, that's a good one. The very first person that came to my head is Obama.
Hmm.
That was the first person that came to my head.
And why do
And
you
that kind
why would you like to go in? Why would you like to share some ramen with Obama?
by his playlist he comes out with every day, I think he has some really good music taste.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we could talk about some music, and definitely want to hear the real version of his story. Not the the media cleaned up version. I think we can maybe have a couple beers or a couple sake lemonades
Yeah.
and have a good time. Actually, the ramen shop I used to work at, Malia Obama came, and I had to serve Malia Obama, and it was
Okay.
probably one of the most nerve wracking things I've ever done in my life.
Ah, was she there by she was with the group? Of course, probably.
She was with the group, but as soon as she like walked in, the whole restaurant just like got quiet,
Oh, wow.
and then just started like staring. And then anytime I would go to her table, every the restaurant would just get quiet, and everyone would just stare and see what was going to happen. And then like I
How
wa-
how wild would that be? I don't know if I'd be able to take that, you
yeah,
know?
I could barely take it, and it wasn't me.
Right, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, as far as like you serving, like, ooh, but yeah, wow. I'm sure she was very gracious and everything, but
Yeah,
yeah,
she was nice, but I was clearly shaking.
oh no.
Because like her security is just staring at you, and it's like
Right.
you're like I
Don't
don't
make
want to
it
go out like
possible.
this.
Yeah.
No fast movements. you know.
Yes. Did you have any other, because you are in DMV, did you have any other brushes with celebrity?
Um, top of my head. None that I can remember off the top of my head.
Hmm.
I think Malia definitely takes the cake.
Yeah, that was probably a very polarizing evening.
yeah.
I can just imagine. Well, Josh, I really thank you for everything. Thank you for telling me more about Eat.Drink Kinko. Uh, and I think that this is really, really something different coming from BIPOC culture, infusing those um, Asian references as far as like, and using also yours as far as your background and our culture and meshing those two together for something that's really, really going to be popular in the DMV. And I'm thinking that, or I'm hoping that by the time that it's in cans, that maybe it might be, able to ship or get close to somewhere where I can
Yeah,
get a hold of it. But yeah, that's really, really great. And I hope that you have continued success. It sounds like you're well on your way and doing great things.
thank you for having me on. I think this was my second podcast interview, so this was fun.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. So yeah, again, thank you again, Josh. We are have some things lined up, like as I said, for being Black and Craft for the rest of the month. We're going to continue to talk about ingredients that are uh, part of our culture that we're using in beverages. Stay tuned for that, as well as showing up on YouTube, being Black and Craft, as well as Facebook. We're going to be live, Black and Craft, every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. And if you can't catch us live, you can always listen to the podcast that will be loaded up on Tuesday. So again, my name is Angie, the Undeniable Vixen, and thank you for being here with Being Black and Craft, where we don't apologize for recognizing our influence on craft beer. Y'all have a great night and a wonderful week.
All right, thank you. Thanks again.